Hi, this is Phil Kerner, the Tool and Die Guy, and continuing on with my lessons on mold making and die casting dies. Today's lesson is going to be a basic lesson on parting lines. And I'll tell you, a big secret to building injection molds is if the people who can understand and see and visualize parting lines have a big advantage. So what this lesson will teach you is what is a parting line and how it affects the mold building process and cost especially. So I hope you enjoy this, and this again is a basic introduction to parting lines. So let's start off with our first example of a flat parting line. And if you go back into my videos just a little bit, I did a whole thing on this toy gas nozzle mold. These two parts get sonic welded together. Now they're kind of busy parts as far as a lot of contours in the cavity and the core here. But the reality is, if we look at it from the side, we have a flat parting line, all right? So that's interesting because you see so much 3D work here, okay? We do have a shut-off here to form that half a hole, and so when it goes together here with the other half, we have a full diameter. But both of these parts that fit together have a flat parting line, all right? Now, let's look at a contoured parting line, okay? All right, let's take a look at this simple little part here, little mold called a bracket, all right? And doesn't look like much. We'll see in the 3D renderings what the parting line looks like, but again, just a small part here, right? But looking at this graph here, 2 3/4 by maybe about 1 1/4 wide. But we got a parting line here, okay, versus the nozzle mold. So let's look at the parting line here, and I have to hold this in place here, but there's your parting line. All right, that means the whole parting line of the mold is going to have this contour to it, and it has to shut off. When both halves of the mold close, if those don't hit exactly, you're going to have that ugly flash, the fuzz on the ends, right? So that adds a lot more to it. So let's take a look at the 3D renderings of this part, this little bracket. All right, so if you've watched any of my previous videos, one of the videos I just recorded about a week or so ago was this nozzle mold, how to build this nozzle mold, with all the drawings and section views, a full plan view of how this is constructed. Well, this is the part, right? And it's a busy part. Got a little shut off here. We'll get into shut offs on another lesson. But the question is, what's the parting line look like? Well, if we do that, we've got a flat parting line, all right? So if the part that mates to this is the nozzle right or the nozzle left, all right? But these two parts are going to be sonic welded together. And again, very contoured part, a lot going on. But if we still do the view with the parting line showing, flat parting line, okay? So what does that look like? Let's take a look at the how the two halves of the mold would go together. All right, so this is the nozzle mold, and there's your cavity plate. There's your cavity plate, front half or A plate, core half, B plate or back half, okay? That's the difference, but we see with a flat parting line. So I'm just going to do this in fireworks here, but if we move this up, there's your mold closing, and it's slowly going to go up until these two fit together and form the part. But there's your flat parting line. Right there, right along here. Despite all those contours and everything, this part has a flat parting line. Mold opens. And that's a flat parting line. All right, now let's look at a part, this little bracket, with a contoured parting line. Certainly not a flat one. So this is the part. All right. Again, there's a lot going on here with the parting line. All right, and you'll see that on the cavity and core inserts in just a second. All right, so that's the part. That's that black part that I showed you on the earlier video. But let's see what the cavity and core look like. Here's the cavity plate. there's flat parting line, shut off. All this is contoured, flat, but this is your parting line. All that has to shut off when the two halves of the mold close, or you'll have flash along here. All right, so that's all going to be fit together at assembly. Let's look at the cavity. Let's look at the core. Okay, and you can look closely. That E is standing steel, as we would call it. So you got to be careful when you're milling away here that you don't wipe out the material. It's supposed to be there to leave that E standing. Got a couple other things going on here. We've got another shut off here, along here. Let's move this back up, to form a pad here to bring the runner in. All right. I don't know if we put the gate in there or not. Let's rotate this a little bit more. Yep, he's got the tunnel gate in there. We can take a look at that. See that? There's a gate going in there, and if we rotate this around, that's where the gate comes in to put the plastic into the part. So that's the a little small there. That is the core plate for this little bracket. All right. So let's look at how those two fit together. All right. So this is a sketch or a side view of the bracket mold with the contoured parting line, and let's see how those two fit together. And here comes the back half to close, the movable half, the B plate, and as it comes up, we're going to do this slowly so we don't screw things up on the video. And that is what it looks like when it's closed. And you can see all this has to perfectly shut off. All these radiuses, this angle, this radius, everything has to hit at the same time or the part won't come out right. All right, so that is a big deal with putting injection molds together with contoured parting lines. And that's a very simple example. These are pretty basic contours because they're all defined radiuses and defined angles. Okay, this one you can actually make these electrodes quite simply with a Bridgeport if you had to. Okay, but with the 3D world we live in now, it'd be a lot easier. But anyways, that's a contoured parting line. So I hope you found that informative. Again, this was a basic lesson, but you should have a better understanding in your head of what a parting line is and how it affects the mold building process. Again, I'm Phil Kerner, the Tool and Die Guy. To find out more about me and the stuff I do for the trade, just check out thetoolanddieguy.com. Lots of fun stuff over there. Lots of fun stuff to hang on the wall for the man cave. Just check it out. toolanddieguy.com. I am Phil Kerner, the Tool and Die Guy, and I'll see you on the next video.